The FCC can no longer make that claim that there's no health challenges. They failed miserably in following their own protocol. On January 25th, 2021, the DC Circuit Court's judge panel asked,
do you know whether this committee that Judge Wilkins referenced within the FDA even exists and whether it has spoken on this issue?
I'm not familiar with the committee or what its status is.
Okay. So in the notice of inquiry, the FCC flagged that it wanted to get input, including from these expert federal agencies, sister agencies, information on what had changed since 1996, and that is the analysis of medical consequences, and in both the introduction and then even in your final decision here in your second report in order, there's lots of discussion about how there's so many new devices and people are using multiple devices. They're using them, way more people are using them, and way more people are using them all the time or through extensive periods. This was even before the pandemic when we're now living on this stuff. But even before that, the amount of usage, the number of devices used often simultaneously, the age range of people who are using these and how long they're using them. That was all quite sensibly what the FCC asked for. The FDA came back and talked about cell phones and cancer. How was it reasonable for the FCC to rely so heavily on a response from the FDA that there's no indication relied on this specialized committee and did not address the very things you asked for information on: other devices, the use of multiple devices, and physical harms other than cancer? How was that reasonable, even with the super deference you get at this stage?
we now know the claims that the FCC have been utilizing to say that, oh, it's safe and it's fine and there's not going to be any harm, they have no idea what they're talking about, because they themselves, out of their own mouths, as you heard from the testimony earlier, did not follow their own protocol in an effort to try to get this technology deployed as quickly as possible. So we'll just take that, we're going to leave that where it is.
I'm just going to be very upfront with why I am inclined to rule against you. I don't see anything in the record that says that that working group actually exists or looked at any of the evidence in this case. So the problem that I have is that you say that you're relying on the expertise of the FDA, but the entity that Congress specifically said to review this committee, you've given us no evidence that this committee has looked at any of this. And then you say that in the future, to the extent anything needs to be looked at, it's going to be looked at by this working group. But I don't see any evidence that the working group looked at anything this time. So why shouldn't I send it back for the relevant working groups in the FDA to look at this record?
The fact that the FCC has not followed proper safety protocols has put small children in harm's way.
Under the
You can't tell me whether that committee even exists or whether the committee reviewed anything having to do with this petition.
I can't, sitting here. I don't have any personal knowledge about that committee.
Translated, all safety standards set by the FCC relative to non-ionizing, non-thermal, no-heat, negative biological impacts caused by RF radiation from wireless technology were completely arbitrary. This throws the preemption mandates granted the FCC on the basis the technology is/was safe right out the window. The Broadband Safety and Integrity Council calls for an immediate revocation of preemptive authority granted the FCC over the municipalities regarding wireless technology deployment. The Council also calls for states, county, and municipalities to institute plans for remediation of harmful RF waves where small children learn, play, and are cared for, opting for fiber optic mandates similar to those instituted in France, opting to deny and halt all construction of fixed towers and antennas in residential areas until the FCC can affirmatively prove there is no harm to people. In conclusion, tightening up safety protocols will push America forward to a world-class fiber optic infrastructure, while simultaneously opening the door to a massive job creation opportunity for our tradesmen and women in the internal wiring business, thereby closing the digital divide once and for all. For more information, visit us at laortega.com, Pueblito Fuerte. Thank you for your attention to this extremely important matter.